A federal grand jury has indicted an Arizona man for allegedly selling weapons in an effort to carry out a mass shooting against minorities with the aim of starting a, quote, race war. The indictment says that 58-year-old Mark Adams Prieto recruited an undercover FBI agent and an informant at a gun show and told them he wanted to carry out a mass shooting of minorities to incite a race war ahead of this year's presidential election, saying he wanted to carry the attack out at a rap concert in Atlanta in mid-May. The indictment also alleges that Prieto sold 2 rifles to be used in that shooting to the FBI agent. Now, he was later arrested while driving east from Arizona and is in federal custody now, where he's been indicted on several charges, including transfer of a firearm for use in a hate crime. To talk more about this, we're bringing in Tracy Walder, NewsNation national security contributor and former FBI special agent and CIA officer. Good evening, Tracy.
Thank you for having me, Natasha.
Tracy, what is the most shocking aspect of this case to you?
I mean, there's multiple aspects of this that are very shocking to me. I think the first is what he's being charged with. Part of me wonders if he is being charged on these weapons violations because it is the quickest way to get him into custody, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But what I see are some charges that are missing. Yes, he's under that charge for procuring a weapon for the use of a hate crime, but not a hate crime itself. And he was directly targeting members of a minority group. Also, there's no domestic terrorism charges because we don't have a domestic terrorism statute. So those are 2 things that really sort of stand out to me.
Can you break down each of the charges against Prieto right now and how strong the case is against him for each one?
Well, really, the 2 weapons charges, those are sort of the largest charges that are against him. And in my opinion, both of those charges, the transfer and possession, because he was trying to basically get it from an FBI agent, there's no doubt that he will be convicted of those. Those are very easy charges to ultimately convict someone of. And he's looking in total at about 25 to 40 years on both of those charges combined.
Tell me more about the actual plans that have been uncovered here. It involved a Bad Bunny concert, is that right? And is there any specific minority group he was looking to target in particular?
It sounds to me, and at least in reading his indictment, that it was African Americans that he was looking to target, although it could be more. I don't necessarily know the answer to that question, but this really stems from the idea of the Great Replacement theory, and we have seen this multiple times. We saw this in the Buffalo shooting. We saw this with Dylan Roof and the South Carolina church in 2015. We saw this in Oklahoma City. That is where this idea comes from, that we need to take violent action to stop this, I guess, white genocide is what they refer to it, that is going on. And so this idea is still alive and well, and that's very disturbing.
It's incredible that the FBI and the undercover agent there managed to thwart this. How credible were these plans? Was this threat? Do you think a mass shooting was thwarted here?
I 100% think that a mass shooting was thwarted here, and I really commend the FBI. A lot of times, members of these types of groups are really difficult to kind of crack because, first of all, it's very much kind of familial in nature, and it's really difficult to sort of send someone in there undercover. And the second thing is they are using encrypted apps to speak on, and in those apps, they are not, saying when and where they're going to commit an attack. So it's really, really difficult to track these individuals, and this is really a great job on behalf of the FBI.
It seems that Prieto's plan has some similarities to Charles Manson's plans to carry out murders in order to start a race war in the late 1960s. How common are these types of schemes? What motivates them? And is there any concern of an increase in this sort of behavior and activity ahead of the election?
Look, I'll be incredibly blunt. When I was an FBI agent, I went to arrest 2 individuals on things like this at 2 different occasions. So in all honesty, I don't want to say you use the word common because common implies it's happening daily. It's not that common, but it is more common than what I think people think, and it has been going on for decades. Now, I suspect in the lead up to the election, because we did have a little bit of this in 2020, that we may see more in terms of this Great Replacement theory and actionable intelligence against it, but I can't say for certain.
Okay, Tracy Walder, always appreciate the context and time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.